Guys, I am speechless. Breaking news. The Baltimore Ravens are firing John Harbaugh. I can't believe it. Well, it's happening, and we're right here to talk about it. Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Peterson. It felt like everything over the last 24 to 48 hours, ever since the Sunday night loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers that ended your season, it felt like it was an attitude of, hey, let's just run this back. Let's just bring John Harbaugh back, maybe go one more year, and let 2026 be the litmus test to see whether or not he comes back the following year. They obviously did not stick with that plan. And it reminds me of a quote from Steve Bisciotti back in April. He said, I want to win now, damn it. I don't want to look to the future and say, okay, maybe let's build for this year. Let's build for this year. He wanted to win now, and we could see that with this move. Because you know what you're going to get from John Harbaugh, for the most part. If you get John Harbaugh in a healthy Lamar Jackson for a full 17-game season, you're going to win 10 games, and you're going to make it to the playoffs. That's not good enough anymore, okay? And I think John Harbaugh would be a phenomenal, okay, you can just filter through stuff. I think John Harbaugh would be a phenomenal head coach for a team like the Giants, the Dolphins, the Raiders, one of those teams that needs stability right now. That they need a culture change. That they needed somebody to right the ship. That's those teams. Baltimore has a strong franchise. They've got stability. Now what they need is a new voice at the top, new leadership. I don't know about you guys, but it's felt like over this year, the play like a Raven mentality has died. The physical toughness, the mental toughness, that is all gone. And I just believe it's because you didn't have a strong voice that was leading this franchise, leading this team. And now you got an opportunity to go get one. And it felt like 2 weeks ago we were talking about choosing between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. And I told you, look, if they choose John Harbaugh after 18 seasons to move forward over Lamar Jackson, who was still in his prime, I said I think that'd be the biggest mistake in franchise history. I actually also said I'll never make another video again. So praise God that happened, because y'all would never see me again, and I probably would have gotten fired. What is your one-word reaction to the Baltimore Ravens firing John Harbaugh? We got 250 people hanging out here with us. It's good to see every single one of you guys. Get down in the chat. It feels like I'm in a dream, truly. It's 5 o'clock. We were sitting at our desk, Gage and I cover the Tennessee Volunteers for Chat Sports, and we're about to make a Tennessee video for later in the day. And then we all got the notification. Everybody in the office started screaming, and I was like, I can't believe it. I just didn't think they were going to do it. I didn't think that Bisciotti had the balls to do it. I talked about it after the New England game. I said, look, I would think that this is the move that was going to be made, but Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh, they're all boys. They have sleepovers together. They drink beer on their back porches together. They probably did Christmas morning together. I just never thought that this would actually end up happening. A couple of the one-word reactions. God, crazy, finally, hallelujah, hype, good, happiness, wow, amazing. Someone said hire Joey. I agree. Joyful, freedom, relief, finally, divine, rejuvenated. Wow, a lot of higher Joeys getting down in the chat. I like it. Joey for HC. I'll take it. Oh, wow. That is crazy. So I would just blanket assume every single coach on this staff is gone. Depending on who they hire, we don't know yet if Todd Monken's going to be back or or if Zach Orr is going to be back. Right now, I would just assume that they are not. But if you're happy about this news, do me one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Like today's video. We got a couple of super chats. Let's get to them. $2 from depressed Ravens fan, hopefully no longer. Let's go. Zach Orr's next, then likely Todd Monken. Yeah, it sure feels that way. And also, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just keeping open my Twitter just to make sure that, I'm not missing anything. Apparently, it is a mutual decision. The Baltimore Ravens just released a statement. I'm going to read it to you. Following a comprehensive evaluation of the season and the overall direction of our organization, I decided to make a change of head coach. Today I informed, this wasn't a mutual decision. Excuse me. Today I informed John that he has been relieved of his duty. This was an incredibly difficult decision given the tremendous 18 years we've spent together and the profound respect I have for John as coach, more importantly as a man of great integrity. So, no mincing words right there. This was not a mutual decision. And Ian Rappaport just said, Ravens coach John Harbaugh was confident he'll return with the same staff, minor tweaks. That was not good enough. Now he's out. Baltimore has a very, very attractive opening. And immediately, the Baltimore Ravens just became the most attractive head coaching job in the National Football League. Let me tell you why. You got a future Hall of Famer in there at running back. You got a future Hall of Famer and two-time MVP in there at quarterback. You have the 14th overall pick in the NFL draft, and you have a fan base that is hungry for a change and hungry for something new. I cannot believe that this was not a mutual decision. Wow. Sorry, guys. Just kind of making sure we didn't change anything or didn't miss anything. This is wild. Lamar Jackson's only ever played for one head coach. Eric DeCosta's only ever worked with one head coach. Steve Bisciotti's only ever hired one head coach. My goodness. Unfreaking real. Christian Malley, $5. Hi to everyone. Rejoice, Ravens fans. Who will be the perfect head coach for the Ravens? We can get into this now. I think that Brian Flores, and there's no I think about it, Brian Flores is my number one candidate to be the Baltimore Ravens' next head coach. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it either. Like, if I'm Steve Bisciotti, I might be doing a two-man search. Brian Flores, Jesse Minter, but Flores is my number one. Multiple reasons. Number one, I love the fact that he is a defensive mind, and I think he is a damn good defensive mind at that. Gage, if you go all the way down in photos, could you find if we have it? I don't know if we will because it was from pretty far back. We probably don't, regardless. His defenses. Yeah, I didn't think so. I love the way he runs his defenses strategically, schematically. I love the fact that he marches up 7 guys on the defensive line, drops back 4. He brings more pressure than any other DC in the National Football League. He has a higher percentage of a heavy box rate than any other team in the National Football League. And if you look at the Minnesota Vikings, what their defenses do, the ways that they perform, like, guys, that is such a high level compared to the talent they have in that roster. Like, think about the Minnesota Vikings roster. Think about it for a second. Like, how many elite players are on that defense right now? He makes Van Ginkel look like a top 10 defender in the National Football League. Like, seriously, let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings roster right now. Jonathan Allen, older. He's kind of past his prime, and he spent the majority of his time not with the Minnesota Vikings. Javon Hargrave, good player. Andrew Van Ginkel, good player. Harrison Smith is going to be a Hall of Famer one day. That's probably it. It's like, dude, what Brian Flores can do with those people is unbelievable. I also love the fact that Brian Flores has failed before as a head coach. Because I'll tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you failed as a head coach, you have no incentive to go back to what just made you fail. Like, he knows his mistakes. He knows what he did wrong. And frankly, what he did wrong was just be too much of a hard ass. And isn't that what this team needs? A little mental toughness, physical toughness, somebody to whip them into shape. That's what the Ravens need right now. And I believe that's what Brian Flores would give them. He's so aggressive. I love his aggressive style of coaching. The Ravens just didn't have that this year. Let's get some other super chats. What were you saying, Gage? Okay, great. We'll hit those in a second. Let's catch up on supers. So Brian Flores is my number one. I got more people to talk about, though. But he is, without a doubt, number one. Okay, Christian Malley with the 5 earlier. Yeecaw, I think it's the right move. I always liked Harbs and I'm thankful for the Super Bowl. But just like with my Spurs and Popovich, it was time for change. And that's the thing, guys. Like, don't look at my excitement and mask it as I hated John Harbaugh. In fact, I just told you, I think the Giants should be on the phone with John Harbaugh right now. I think the Dolphins, the Raiders, should be on the phone with John Harbaugh right now. But it was just time for something different. Thankful for the Super Bowl, thankful for the wins, thankful for his leadership. But it was time for a change, right? Sweetie T, grass isn't always greener. I like Lamar, but have we already seen his best? Not consistent. Has been getting hurt more and more. Guess we will see. That is true. The grass is not always greener. And I think that's the risk with this move. Like, you knew what you were getting with John Harbaugh, right? Like I said, with a healthy Lamar Jackson and a John Harbaugh, you're consistently going to win 10 games. Like, that's just the fact. One of the reasons you did not this year is because you did not have a healthy Lamar Jackson. I don't think we've seen Lamar Jackson's best. And maybe we have. I think a step down from his 2024 season is still a damn good quarterback. What we need is good pieces around him and good leadership in front of him. Because sure, you got really good tentpole players that the Baltimore Ravens have built their roster on. Kyle Hamilton, Lamar, Derrick Henry. Those guys are the future of this league. But outside of that, this team has been so stuck on draft and develop, right? Just those two things that they're not signing outside free agents. So if they miss on a couple of drafts, that's where you see the second tier of this roster take a massive, massive step down, okay? But you're right. Grass isn't always greener. But Lamar Jackson, even if we have seen his best, a step down from that isn't that bad. We'll see, man. But that's what makes me so excited about this gig.
Joey?
Yeah.
Right now, John Harbaugh is expected to emerge as a favorite for the head coaching job of the Giants.
Great, good.
Supported by Schefter. Yeah.
John Harbaugh emerging as a favorite for the head coach of the Giants. Look, we will see. But again, that's the thing that I like about this move, is that you are the most attractive job in football. Future Hall of Famer, 2-time MVP at quarterback that is a calendar year removed from throwing for 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 3 picks. You got a Hall of Fame running back, back-to-back seasons of 1,500 yards or more. Right? You got the best safety in the National Football League. You got a good roster. You got a 14th pick in the NFL draft. You're drafted top half, baby. This is a team that a lot of people want to come coach for. eHarmony says, let's go. I didn't think Orr stays. No one is going to protect him now. I hope we keep Monken. He's the one coordinator that's not been an issue, and Harbaugh can't throw him under the bus anymore. Yeah, the Orr Monken relationship was a weird one because we talked about it earlier today. That was our AM video, Gage and I's. And it just always felt like Todd Monken was just getting thrown under the bus time and time and time again. And for some reason, Zach Orr was just getting praised. And to me, it was no question which of those two guys I felt were the better coordinator. Like, if you compare the statistics and the rankings for the defense and the offense is better than the defense is in every single statistical category except EPA per play, and they had Lamar Jackson hurt for a third of the season. So it always confused me. I don't know where they're going to go with coordinators. I imagine whoever comes in next is going to want to bring his own guys in, going to want to make his own hires. And although I love Todd Monken, I always think that's the right thing to do for a brand new head coach, is come in and make this job yours. So we'll see, man. We will see. But hey, you had some coordinators you had some guys who are coordinators now, okay? Let's think about it. Kliff Kingsbury, he'd go be a coordinator somewhere. Brian Daboll, he'd go be a coordinator somewhere. I almost guarantee you, since the John Harbaugh thing happened, that the Miami Dolphins are going to move on from Mike McDaniel. He could go be a coordinator. I'd love Mike McDaniel to run the offense. That's what I would love. Crazy, man. Crazy. You could say fire. Or no, just run that. That's good. Okay, we got some other super chats to get to. Shout out to you guys who are super chatting. If you want to get on the show, make sure to send in one. You'll get your name and profile up on the screen. He was just the beneficiary of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, the Steve Kerr effect, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't want to go as far as saying that, but I think there's a happy middle. He definitely benefit from coming in and coaching for a lot of Hall of Famers. And then he had Lamar Jackson. But I don't think they're the only reason that this team had success, because you got to have a head coach. Okay, we got some more Twitter updates, ladies and gentlemen. John Harbaugh didn't have a chance to inform his staff of his firing is proof how quickly this all went down. Wow. Neither side was prepared for this outcome today. Ravens team president Sashi Brown and general manager Eric DeCosta informed the Harbaugh staff of his departure. So, John Harbaugh did not even get to inform his staff.
So it was pretty much like all of a sudden, like boom, 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 you're out of the office.
Yeah, it came very, very quickly without thinking that it was going to. Wow, that's very, very telling in my opinion. Nate Wiggins, too, says, thanks, Joey, for giving me this amazing news. The crazy thing is there's probably 100 people in this live show right now, Gage, that have only ever, no, probably more than that, probably half the people in this live show have only ever known John Harbaugh as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm one of them.
18 seasons. You're one of them.
I'm one of them. Since
See,
I started
was
watching
born in
football.
2000, so I remember a time where he wasn't.
Yeah, it was 2002, but I didn't really start watching football until 2007.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy. Sweetie T says, I do think it's interesting that Henry had his best game without Lamar. I think Lamar is good, but like Kyler, you never know what you're going to get. Look, Sweetie, I so disagree with your comparison to Lamar Jackson like Kyler. Lamar Jackson dealt with a hamstring injury, a knee injury, an ankle injury, a toe injury, a back injury, all 5 of those for the entirety of this season. Okay? All 5. And you still almost made the playoffs, even with him missing 5 games. Look, he's not Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's never going to win an MVP. Kyler Murray's never going to be close. Kyler Murray is about to get traded away from the team he currently plays on. And it's not really that interesting that Derrick Henry has his best game without Lamar. You know why? Because without your starting quarterback in there, your game plan then turns to hand the football off. Give it to your future Hall of Fame running back. But, again, appreciate the $5 super chat. Let's ask you guys who your number 1 head coaching candidate is. Who is it? You let me know down below. The funny thing is Tyler Loop, low-key, is the one that made this all happen. I wonder if this would have happened or not if Tyler Loop would have made that kick.
I don't know.
That's
going to be the biggest what if out of this season, I think, for the Ravens. Will have to be what would have happened if Tyler Loop made that kick.
Seriously, man. Seriously. Well, this all went down very, very quickly. Like we said, John Harbaugh did not even have a chance to notify his staff. Top candidates, Mike McDonald, Kubiak. I would really like Kubiak. A lot of Brian Flores is. I'm still Zeno, says Klint Kubiak head coach, Brian Flores, DC. The thing about Brian Flores is he's not going to be a DC anywhere else. He will get a head coaching job this cycle. A lot of rumors and reports that the Las Vegas Raiders are very, very high on Brian Flores, as they should be. Great. We do. Great. Perfect. We'll put that up in a second. Brian Flores, Bill Belichick. No, thank you. Klint or Brian? Hello. Well, what's up, Ryan? Jesse Minter, I think that is a realistic opportunity. Nick Saban, I like that one. McCarthy, wasn't too pumped up about that one. What's up, Kimberly? Good to see you. Rogue says Suggs. Yes, I did. Fast 1, 2, 3 hole. Tennis squad. I did see his response. We'll put that up in a second. Jon Gruden. Interesting name. Don't think that'll happen. Brian Kelly could not be less interested. Bill Belichick. I think it's a little bit past his prime. Is Zach Orr going to get fired? Probably. Matt LaFleur? Don't think that's going to happen. Rex, MF, and Ryan, no thank you. I think Rex Ryan is past his time. I wouldn't mind Rex Ryan as a DC, but I would not be interested in him as a head coach. What's up, another Black Storm Chaser? Robert Saleh. I would like Robert Saleh. Look, that's my number 2 head coaching candidate. Engage. We can talk a little bit about Saleh for a second. Robert Saleh, I believe, got dealt a very, very poor hand. Okay? I truly believe that. Robert Saleh got the job in New York, which nobody has success in. Gage, when's the last time the Jets made an AFC championship game?
2009 with Rex Ryan as head coach.
2009, Rex Ryan as head coach. How many years before that was it?
The year prior, they had back-to-back years.
When's the last time they won a playoff game? Was it 2009?
Yeah.
They won a playoff game in 2009.
That was their last appearance in the playoffs, too.
Last appearance. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2009. He got a horrible hand dealt to him in New York. Then they signed a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and then they let said 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers man the ship at all of his old buddies, and then when it flames out, when he gets hurt, and they suck the next year, Robert Saleh gets on the blame. If you bring him in here with an MVP candidate at the quarterback position, a future Hall of Famer in there at running back, let him figure that defense out. Guys, the 49ers are going to make the playoffs, and they had Brock Purdy missing for 5 games. Probably not on Saleh, right? No Fred Warner for the last 12 games of the season. No Nick Bosa for the last 12 games of the season. Their defense is scraps, and they're going to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I would take Brian Flores. Let's get to not Brian Flores, Robert Saleh. Oh, I would take Brian Flores, number 1, but Robert Saleh would be a good number 2. Let's do Harbaugh's statement. So, John Harbaugh did speak. And he had obviously a probably very emotional last hour or so, very emotional message. He starts it off in this way. He said, well, was hoping for a different kind of message on my last day here someday. But that day has come today. It comes with a disappointment, certainly, but more with gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude to the owner and organization who's willing to bring in a head coach who made his mark with special teams success. A difficult thing to do. Appreciation for all the moments, all these years that are etched into eternity. I hope a legacy built on faith, always fighting, always believing, values built into an organization through a team that are worthwhile, good and lasting, that are admired by fans and foes alike. Meaningful and impactful relationships with players through the years that I will always cherish. Grateful for their loyal strength and courage. Loyal partnerships in this wonderful building that grew into strong friendships through the toil and tempest of the job every single day. Mostly for my treasured family, my Ingrid to my Allison, who are beyond compare in every way, loves in my life, close-knit family, good friends who stick with you no matter what. Finally, to the author and finisher of our faith, gratitude for a journey beyond anything I could have dreamed of my own. All is well with my soul because the good God who guides me and sustains me. And that's the thing, man. John Harbaugh is an unbelievable guy. He really, really is. He's great, great, great man. I know a lot of these players loved him. The staff loved him. It's hard to read that and be happy. It truly is. I still think it's the right decision, but man, you got to show him some love. So I need you to show John Harbaugh some love down below. Spam those JHs for me in the chat. Thank you so much, John, for all the years, all the wins, everything that you've meant. You can be happy that he's gone, and I am one of those people who is happy that the Baltimore Ravens are moving on from John Harbaugh. But I do need you to show him some love for me. If you're appreciative of the Super Bowl, of all the AFC Championship games, of all the wins, all the times we got to go to bed on a Sunday happy instead of sad, I need you to do me a favor and show him some love for me. Okay, so in the first 45 minutes after John Harbaugh was fired, his agent Brian Harlan said he received calls from seven NFL teams expressing interest in his client. There currently are 7 NFL coaching openings, including Baltimore's. So that means every single player. I just saw that. And then, interesting, Diana Rossini. Thank you, Sam. Amid recent league-wide buzz about Kliff Kingsbury's future, many believe Baltimore paired with Lamar Jackson would be an ideal landing spot for now former Commanders offensive coordinator. That will be a name to watch. I don't think that's going to happen. Diana, thanks for the note. Personally, I would be very, very upset if this team hired Kliff Kingsbury because what this team needs is a strong, physical leader. That is not what Kliff Kingsbury is. So, well, that might be true. I would be pretty bummed out about that. I'll tell you that right now. Depressed Ravens fan. What if you get a CFB coach like Oregon's or Ohio State's be our coordinator? Then we draft an all lineman in the first. By the way, I think Robert Saleh or Texans guy. Okay, college football head coach. You could not hire those guys to be coordinators. One reason is they make double as head coaches in college what coordinators make in the National Football League. Like Dan Lanning and Ryan Day, they're both making $12 million a year to be the head coach of those teams. And so they're not going to want to come be coordinators, make half that much. Chip Kelly broke the record for highest paid NFL coordinator for $6 million this year. Literally half what those guys would make. I would like to draft offensive lineman in the first, though. Carson Cottle says Kingsbury would take Lamar Jackson to Thailand. Yeah, he would. You're not wrong. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Christian Malley. The last Ravens coach for Harbaugh was Brian Billick when I was 9 years old in 99. Yes, I was negative years old in 1999. That was the last time they made a new head coaching hire before John Harbaugh. Crazy, man. It's been a long time. Ray Lewis as head coach. I don't necessarily think that would work. I would like Ray Lewis as a linebacker coach. Yes, I could get behind that. I really, really could. Okay, so we've gotten Brian Flores and Robert Saleh, Gage. Let's talk about the others, because those are the top 2. Brian Flores, Robert Saleh for John Harbaugh replacements. Number 3, Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a name that, in my opinion, makes a lot of sense. This is also a name that some people have already been tossing around a little bit. I saw a tweet trying to find where this tweet was. Jesse Minter. Find it. Sorry, guys. Trying to figure this out. Oh, yeah, it was Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, says, Jesse Minter of the Ravens seems like it makes a lot of sense. Familiar, fixes defenses, and great leader. James Palmer of The Athletic says, this week I was told Jesse Minter is a star in the making and that he's more than ready to be a head coach. This fits well for an organization that's searched for their 4th head coach's 30-year history. I think this is a legitimate name. He's probably going to be very, very top of the head coach betting odds. So definitely a guy to watch out for. Young, defensive mastermind. Did a really, really great thing with Los Angeles and their defense over this last year. National champion in college with Michigan. Obviously, was in Baltimore before he went to Michigan, before he went to Ann Arbor. So definitely a guy to watch out for, Jesse Minter. I would really be interested in Klint Kubiak as well. Now, he has no head coaching experience, which definitely isn't a great thing. I like that about those top two guys. But he's coached for a lot of different head coaches. He knows what it looks like to run a NFL franchise successfully. He knows what it looks like to run an NFL franchise unsuccessfully. He's been a part of both. And pretty much every single place that he's been, his offenses have thrived in a very, very big way. Okay? Obviously, he's with Seattle this year, and their offense is at the very top of the league. He's making Jackson Smith and Jigba look like the best wide receiver in the National Football League. He's helping make Sam Darnold look like the best quarterback in the National Football League. I would be very, very interested if Klint Kubiak was a candidate, and I think that would be a good move for Baltimore. That's number 4. Number 5, this one not as much anymore. Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for Packers. This was a guy that I was decently excited about probably 3 months ago. I think the shine has worn off him, just a little bit. Just not super impressed. I just don't know how he would be if he had to come in here and just fully run a team. I don't know if he's ready for that. Maybe he is a year from now. Jeff Hafley, still a name I wouldn't be upset about, but a couple of weeks ago, he was the top guy. He's not anymore. Some other options. These are more like crazy dream options. Mike McDonald, head coach of Seattle. Look, this is a hope and a prayer. Maybe he wants to come back and reunite with Baltimore, the place where he made a name for himself. But the fact that the Seattle Seahawks are the number 1 seed, the fact that they are only 3 wins away from a Super Bowl, 2 wins away from getting to a Super Bowl, that's a long shot. Truly, truly, truly. Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator for Miami. Anthony Weaver was a guy that Miami was really excited about bringing him in. Look, their team has not done good this year. He was getting some head coach buzz as well. I believe he already interviewed for a head coaching job. That got reported the other day. I would be excited about it. He knows what it's like to be in Baltimore. I just think he wouldn't be my top choice. Dan Lanning, we already talked about it. I love his leadership ability. But when it comes to defensive coordinators, when it comes to college coaches, the big question mark they always have is, will they be able to fill out a staff? Because they don't have any NFL connections. Dan Lanning has only spent time in college football. And he's only ever been with like 3 programs: Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon. 3 really good programs, but it's a different game. College to NFL. So yeah, he'd be a great leader, but I don't know how his staff would be able to round itself out. Jon Gruden would be fun. I don't know how successful it would be, but we'd have fun covering it. I think Jon Gruden in the NFL, I think that story is over. I think that book is written. If he's going to get another head coaching gig one day, I believe it's going to be in the college rankings, which I think he would do very well in. Kliff Kingsbury is the last one. Former OC of Washington. He has now been relieved of his duties as of today. And apparently, via Diana Rossini, Kliff Kingsbury seems to be a guy that Baltimore might be interested in. I don't really... there it is. Thank you. Amid recent league-wide buzz about Kliff Kingsbury's future, many believe Baltimore paired with Lamar Jackson would be an ideal landing spot for the former Commanders' offensive coordinator. That will be a name to watch. So she just basically says many believe that that would be an ideal landing spot for him. I don't know if that means head coach. I don't know if that means offensive coordinator. If it's as an offensive coordinator, I would be really juiced up about it. But if it's as a head coach, look, I don't think that would be anything that interests me. True. So, no thanks for Kliff Kingsbury being this team's offense coordinator. Gage, let's ask him some questions. Great. What was your favorite moment in the Harbaugh era in Baltimore? Let me know down below. I'm going to give a caveat here. You cannot say the Super Bowl. Okay? I need one that is thinking outside of the box. Okay? I need one non-Super Bowl moment. What was your favorite from John Harbaugh in his 18 seasons in Baltimore? Let me know down below in the comment section. Oh, wait, Orr got fired? Wait, someone's saying that. I don't see that yet. I haven't seen really anything about it. Orr has not gotten fired yet. Probably will be soon, but he is not yet. So, Zach Orr and Todd Monken technically are both still employed by the Baltimore Ravens. I know, we just said that. Yeah. It's crazy, man. 7 teams already reached out to John Harbaugh. All 7 of them, ladies and gentlemen. That is unbelievable. It just was time for something new. It's just time for something new. Okay. Let's get down into the comment section and see about y'all's responses. Someone said Bill Cowher. No, thank you. My favorite moment of Harbaugh's give Bible verse and prayer. The Mile High Miracle. I knew that would be up there. Shutting out the Bengals in their house. When Lamar was drafted, his reaction. Losing the Giants in the divisional round in 2020. 2018 C.J. Mosley pick against the Browns. Send us to the playoffs. I don't think we should fire Monken. Look, I would love Todd Monken to still be on this team in 2026. But also, if I was running this team, like if I'm Eric DeCosta, if I'm Steve Bisciotti, I am encouraging whoever your next head coach is to bring in his own guys. Okay? I think that is a very, very bad start for a brand new head coach if he's already told, look, here are your coordinators. Here's your offensive guy. Here's your defensive guy. That, to me, is not a good start for a head coach. I want this franchise to be 100% his. I want this franchise to be whoever comes in, he takes control. He has the reins. Okay? Not still Steve Bisciotti and Eric DeCosta. It's his staff. That's what I want. Losing the Bengals, says Mr. Fred. 37-31 Ravens over Rams. I think Harbaugh will go as close to Jim as he can. I think that John Harbaugh will go to New York. That's my guess for John Harbaugh. I think they are about to pay him a lot of money. Okay? They got a young quarterback. I think that could be, attractive. So, be interesting to see.
I think it's a good pick for the Giants if they can pick him up, honestly.
Dude, that's the thing. It would be a great, great pick for the Giants if they could pick him up. If you are a franchise that needs stability, if you're a franchise that needs the ship to be righted, John Harbaugh's your guy. But if you're a franchise that needs a new spark, needs new toughness, needs something new, then I think they made the right decision. And that's where Baltimore is right now. Do you think we could get McVay? No, I don't think so. No. McVay is not leaving Los Angeles, and if he does leave Los Angeles, then it will be to go to TV and not be a head coach for another person. Steve Spagnuolo, older. I don't really like that. Kyle asks, who do you want to be the head coach? Let's talk Brian Flores again. We've already discussed him a little bit. he was my number one. He is my number one candidate when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens' next head coach. There are already reports that Brian Flores is really, really fond of, or, excuse me, let me find this to find which franchise it was, which report it was. The Las Vegas Raiders, very, very, very fond of Brian Flores. In fact, former Giants head coach Brian Daboll is being eyed by Tom Brady as top name for the Ravens offensive coordinator. Brady is interested in forming a Patriots union with the Vikings DC Brian Flores as his head coach. I think this would be a slam dunk. Multiple reasons. Number one, I think that Brian Flores, with how physical he is, with how aggressive he is defensively, I think his philosophies will be very, very fresh for this Baltimore Ravens team. This is a defense that struggled heavily in a lot of different statistics and a lot of different metrics. And if you bring Brian Flores in here, automatically, your defense is fixed. I don't care who the personnel is. Think about the Minnesota Vikings personnel. It's like good. It's nothing crazy. Like Van Ginkel, he makes look as one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. Guys, with Kyle Hamilton, with some of the talent on this roster, Brian Flores would do unbelievable things. I also see some people, and they're saying, look, Joey, he's already been a head coach before. He's failed. Yeah, he has. You're not right. But his failure in Miami was the ownership just hated him. He was really aggressive. He was hard on the team. He was hard on the players. And they were actively asking him to tank. And he didn't. Because he refused to just lose games. Now, he didn't treat Tua Tagovailoa very well. That's been, very, very, widely reported. But that's also why I like this move, is you don't have a rookie quarterback. I think that's a benefit. And guess what? I think we're all sitting here 3 years later, and we can all say, look, Brian Flores was right about Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa sucks. Brian Flores wasn't wrong. He was just early. Funny way to look at it, but it's probably true. It is what it is. So, look, guys, I would love him. I also think that when you are a head coach before, and when you have been fired as a head coach before, you no longer have the incentive to continue to do what you did. Like, you know what you failed the first time. You have no incentive to repeat that. You know what you did wrong. You think he's going to do that again in Baltimore if he gets a second chance as a head coach? This team needs physicality. This team needs to be aggressive. This team needs to stop being soft, both mentally and physically. The Baltimore Ravens, they don't play like a Raven anymore. They haven't in years. They get pushed around. They get bullied. They quit. Brian Flores would change that in a month. I promise you. He's my number one. He's my number one, and it's really not even close, if I'm being honest. Are you happy the Ravens fired John Harbaugh? Let me know by giving me a yes or a no down below in the comment section. August Ovidal says, bring me some George Pickens. Taker's Place says, I live in Miami. I remember all the BS around here. Ross, the owner, is pathetic. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Is Nick? Can you see if Nick's out there? Thank you. Kirby Smart wouldn't hate it. Are they filming? No worries. Let me look up Stephen Ross. Brian Flores. Listen to this. People say, oh, Brian Flores failed in Miami. Reportedly. Okay? Flores alleges that Dolphins owner Stephen Ross attempted to incentivize him to take or purposely lose games shortly after he was hired in 2019, with Ross allegedly offering Flores $100,000 for every loss that season. Flores says that as the team won games late in the year, Dolphins general manager Chris Greer told him Ross was mad at the on-field success was compromising the team's draft position. Additionally, Flores alleges that Ross pressured him recruiting a prominent quarterback, which was Tom Brady, at the end of the 2019 season, which the coach refused so as not to violate the NFL's tampering rules. Ross then allegedly invited Flores onto a yacht for lunch in the winter of 2020, where he informed him that the quarterback was conveniently arriving at the marina for an impromptu meeting. Flores refused the meeting, left the yacht. Afterward, Flores alleges he was treated with disdain and held out as someone who was non-compliant and difficult to work with. He was fired on January 10th, a month and a half later, after recording the first back-to-back winning seasons since 2003. And everybody wants to tell me Brian Flores was a failure in Miami. No, Miami failed Brian Flores. Case in point. End of story. Oh, sorry. Get fired up, man. I get fired up. I just I will not take people not wanting him to be the head coach because he failed in Miami when his failure was putting together back-to-back winning seasons with a roster that sucked. Will Lamar follow Harbaugh? No. No, he will not. Reed, I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying my best. Todd Monken, yeah, I mean, not as a head coach somewhere, but he'll go as an offensive coordinator. I don't think he'll stay in Baltimore. Shar says, how we feel about the Ravens not being in the playoffs? Sacrifice worth making, I think, as well. Because, let's be real. Were the Baltimore Ravens going to win multiple playoff games? I don't think so. I don't think this team's good. So, if you're not going to win multiple playoff games and have a chance to, actually win a Super Bowl, then I think this is easily worth the trade-off. Wow. Listen to this. The ripple effects of John Harbaugh's firing cannot be overstated. Several clubs with head coaches currently under contract will also have interest. That's crazy. No. Go back to that Rossini tweet about the key pressure point in John Harbaugh's dismissal. And then we'll get to Taz's super chat. Yeah, you'll just have to read only that. Does that sometimes. I cannot believe that he got 7 calls from NFL teams expressing interest. 7 current openings, including Baltimore's, meaning 6 that had openings, 1 that didn't. Diana Rossini tweeted out a key pressure point in the John Harbaugh dismissal, according to those familiar with today's discussions, was his refusal to entertain inner conversations about potentially moving on from offensive coordinator Todd Monken, which is funny because I actually agree with John here. If it was potentially moving on from offensive or defense coordinator Zach Orr, then I would agree that that's the reason he needs to be fired. But that being the reason he needed to be fired, in my opinion, kind of crazy because I wouldn't have hated running it back with Todd Monken. It would have been Zach Orr who I hated running it back with. I think it does make me see, though, and I think it does show me that, look, he wanted to just run it back with the staff for the most part. That's what he wanted to do, and they didn't want that to happen. So even if it was Todd Monken or Zach Orr, they wanted changes. I feel like John Harbaugh didn't want changes. They're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just start all over.
So do you think that means, but just based on this tweet alone, that obviously Todd Monken's probably next to go then?
Todd Monken's gone.
So you think Todd will then go with Harbaugh to wherever the next team is?
Maybe that's a really good take. I would imagine if the Ravens fire Todd Monken, which they most likely will, if they fire Todd Monken, I would imagine wherever Harbaugh goes, Todd Monken would be a very, very hot candidate and a hot name to follow him there.
I will say this: if he goes to the Giants with Todd Monken, with Jackson Dart and Scatterbo already showing prominence with Brian Dable this past season, I think they'll be like the next young Baltimore Ravens.
Dude, if they land Harbaugh and Monken in New York, that will be a home run hire.
And NFC East will look really different in the landscape in the next few years if that happens.
Yeah, it really could be. But I think it'd be a home run. Truly, truly, truly. We got a super chat. I believe it was from my main man Taz17. It was. It takes 2 years for a new head coach to get going, so that another year wasted Lamar and Henry. I think Brian would be good, but Henry not getting any younger. It doesn't, Taz. That's not true. You want to know how I know that's not true, Gage? Mike Vrabel, the New England Patriots, number 2 seed in the AFC. They beat you on Sunday Night Football. So it might take 2 years for an hire to get going. But if you knock this hire out of the park, if you hire the right guy, you could just be right back to dominance next year. Okay? So I get the sentiment, but I don't necessarily think I agree with it. Are you guys happy that Harbaugh got fired? If so, hit that thumbs up button. Like the video. If you want the Ravens to crush the head coaching search, do me one big favor and hit that thumbs up button. We got 160 likes. I need 40 more. Let's get to 200 likes on today's show. We also are at 55 total in Super Chats. If we get to 100, word on the street is that Gage would do a beer wall.
That is true.
Have any players said anything yet? No. They have not said anything yet. I bet the players found out like we all did. I mean, John did not even have time to notify his staff. Okay? And so I don't think the Ravens had I don't think the Ravens players found out even before we did. Torrey Smith tweeted out, Harbaugh is a hell of a man and coach. Had a great run in Baltimore. He will easily be one of the top coaches in the market. Great corporations make tough decisions to move on from qualified leaders when the ultimate goal isn't met. It's just business. That is a great, great way to put it. Look, the goal just wasn't met. So that's why you had to end up moving on from John Harbaugh. I think it was the right choice, man. I really, really do. As much as I like John, which I do, look, it is what it is. If you agree with the move, hit that thumbs up button, like the stream. 17 more likes to get to 200. Toots McGav says, am I the only one hoping for Gruden, if at all possible? No, you're not the only one hoping for him. There have been some other Jon Gruden people in the chat. Look, Jon Gruden would be a lot of fun. I love Jon Gruden. I think he's so funny. I think he's a great leader. I think he's tough. I just think that it's past his time. I think the NFL has moved past Jon Gruden. Additionally, I think something interesting to note with Gruden is the fact that he got fired from Las Vegas because of racially insensitive comments. And he'd be coming to a place in Baltimore that is primarily an African-American community. And so I just don't see that being a move that they make. personally, I think that'd probably be bad business to hire a guy who got fired for racially insensitive comments towards African Americans when the majority of Baltimore's population is African American. So you might be, you're not the only one, but I don't think it's possible. Chris Byron, his team needed a change. Chris, very well said. Short, to the point, very, very succinct. It needed a change. Needed something new. How often do we find ourselves late in fourth quarters being like, dude, what is going on? We're absolutely blowing this game. Like, think about this last week, man. He had multiple chances to go out there and get a stop on defense. It just felt like this team no longer had any fight. It just felt like this team, it feels like this team needs new leadership. That's what it feels, in my opinion. We got some new comments down below. Who's y'all's number one head coaching candidate? Let me know in the comment section, okay? Oh, I think it's a good thing. Gage, we even haven't gotten your opinion on it. Get yourself on screen, and I want to hear your 2 cents on the Baltimore Ravens moving on from John Harbaugh as somebody who has, covered this team right along with me for the entirety of this season.
I think I kind of agree with you. I'm surprised that they had more than none had the balls to pull this off.
Yeah.
Because it felt for the longest time that they were always finding ways to kind of defend Harbaugh and some of the decisions that were being made over the season. And it got to a point where I think the voices of the fans grew louder and louder as the season wore on, and they're like, well, what the hell?
Yep.
We're supposed to win the Super Bowl, let alone make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs this season.
Yeah.
And I think that drew a lot of questions and concerns for what needs to be changed. And I think a lot of kudos has to go to the front office for making this move, because if they didn't make this move, I think the trajectory would have gone downhill, and it would have hurt the careers of some very talented players of the Ravens, like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
That's the thing, man. It's like, you got to ask yourself this question. This is all it boils down to. Do you believe you're going to win another Super Bowl with John Harbaugh?
No.
If the answer's no, then he's not your guy anymore. Then you got to move on.
And
you can be thankful for the Super Bowl he has won. Okay? But if that answer is no, so can you win another one? Will he win another one? Then what are we doing? This shouldn't even be debated. Okay? I saw this team, a team that was number 2 in terms of Super Bowl odds coming into this season. I saw that team not even make the playoffs. They're at plus 700, only behind Philadelphia, the reigning Super Bowl champions. Guess what? They made the playoffs. They're hosting a home game. They won their division. They made the playoffs. They've got a good chance to win a lot of football games, make another AFC championship game.
It's embarrassing.
I'm tired of sitting here and watching Lamar Jackson's prime years get wasted away. And I'm not saying it's 100% because of John Harbaugh, because it's not. Okay, Lamar has had a decent hand in the losing too. Okay, but additionally, think about this team's recent playoff losses. Throw it back to 2023. Zay Flowers fumble
at the goal line.
At the goal. Couldn't be more at the goal line than it was. The half-yard line. Zay Flowers fumbles it. That ends the game right there. Okay? Think about 2024. Mark Andrews. Drop pass.
It was in his hands.
Conversion. In his hands. Think about this year. Lamar Jackson gets in the fourth quarter, puts the cape on his back, gives this team a shot to win this game, to make it to the playoffs, to win the division, and Tyler Luke misses a field goal. Okay? We're having a great time, Sam. I don't think so.
We're chilling.
Are you about to head out? If you don't mind.
Sorry, you do need something.
Yeah, I just thought of it. We are going to film another Tennessee after this. Just to help us on the timing perspective. I've got first paragraph. Do you mind just finishing out the copy? If you don't mind. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you. Steve Spagnuolo from the Chiefs. Oh, I'm such a selfish bitch. Steve Spagnuolo, I'm not interested in it. Like, look, I think he's great. He's a great coordinator, but he is 66 years old. And has he ever been a head coach before?
I don't think so.
Oh, he was the Rams head coach for 2 years. So he has been a head coach before. But he hasn't been a head coach the last 15 years.
So he has experience.
66.
That checks that off your list.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like mad about Steve Spagnuolo. I'd be surprised. That's for sure. Let's start a poll, okay? Who's your head coach? Who's your pick at head coach? Okay, Gage?
Yep.
Let's have Brian Flores number 1. Let's go Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, Klint Kubiak. Let's have those top 4. Because those are my top 4 right now.
All right.
Everybody worried about why they haven't fired Orr yet. They're going to. Okay? I promise you.
They probably will do while we're on live or off live. It's eventually
Yeah, like
happen.
Zach Orr is they're gonna move on from it. Okay? Don't sweat it. They will not keep Zach Orr around. They're gonna let the new head coach make his own decisions. Okay. Ooh, call sheet. Actually. Yep. A
Clint's with a C or a K?
market. Klint was the K.
Okay, cool.
A betting odds market has 21% Kevin Stefanski, 17% Brian Flores, 13% Kliff Kingsbury, 12% Jesse Minter, and then 3% Todd Monken or Zach Orr.
I do not want Stefanski. That is the last name on that list.
You know what, though? Like, yeah, I probably don't want Stefanski. Is it weird that I wouldn't be that mad about Stefanski? Is that crazy?
I say it's crazy, Joey. There's a reason why Browns fans were rejoicing when they saw the news yesterday morning.
But Kevin Stefanski's not the one who paid Deshaun Watson the highest salary ever for a quarterback.
That was Barry. I'll say that. That was Barry.
Like, think of who he's had to coach.
But look at how look at their coaching staff.
He's got a winning record with Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco as the quarterbacks.
Okay, Baker Mayfield is a decent quarterback.
You know who else is better? Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying Kevin Stefanski's top of my list. I am saying I don't think I'd be pissed off if it was Kevin Stefanski.
I would.
He's not top 5.
I would.
That might be the craziest thing I've said on
that has got to be the biggest hot take I've ever heard you say on this channel. I'm not gonna lie.
Alex says dream scenario: Brian Flores as head coach, Ray Lewis as DC. If I'm building out my perfect staff, this is it. Brian Flores, head coach, defensive coordinator. Give me Raheem Morris, and then offensive coordinator. I would take Kliff to be the OC.
That's not bad.
What's your dream staff?
Mine's similar. I mean, I would go. I think this is kind of like a lateral move in a sense for my defensive coordinator. But I would go Brian Flores, head coach, DC Robert Saleh. That might be a lateral move.
Yeah, I don't think he'd go from San Fran to Baltimore.
Yeah, that's the only downside of that.
Okay, let's get a realistic DC.
Okay. Realistic?
Yep.
I can see Rex Ryan.
I could too.
I feel he's better. He's better at being so focused on one side of the ball instead of taking over the whole coaching staff, I'd say.
Yep.
So I'd have him as a DC, and then actually I'll change my head coach to Robert Saleh then. And then for offensive coordinator, I'll go with Kliff Kingsbury.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think they should give Saleh a second chance.
Well, there we go. Give Saleh a second chance. Morris would be awesome for DC. Yeah, I agree. I would like Morris. I'd like Jonathan Gannon. No. This is it, Gage. Scratch what I said. Brian Flores, Anthony Weaver, and Kliff Kingsbury. That's my pick. I would rather have Raheem Morris over Anthony Weaver as DC. But if I had to, then never mind. Screw that. I'm going with my own picks. My dream: Brian Flores, Raheem Morris, and is Kliff Kingsbury my dream offensive coordinator?
Well, I'd say Kubiak.
But he's not.
He's not
we
going
got
to
to
leave.
think about.
We got to
like,
think
realistic
realistically.
moves.
Okay.
So the poll, 108 votes, 73% say Flores, 10% say Saleh, 12% say Kubiak, 5% say Mitchell.
Matty Boom says Stefanski at OC.
Yeah, I don't think
know.
Stefanski would take an OC. Who's the Patriots OC? It's it's Josh McDaniel.
He's not leaving anytime soon. I don't think.
Yeah, he's not. He's a New England guy. So, yeah, we could have that boat. We could sail that down the river. I would love Rex Ryan as a DC and Robert Saleh. Either one's cool. Reed Morris to the coordinator is crazy for me. I love that. Yeah, I don't think. I think Rex Ryan could be somewhat of a possibility.
Because even though he's older, he still is has an intensity that I think the Ravens need.
Well, also 2 years ago, he was a guy that the Cowboys almost hired as DC.
As DC, okay.
Before they hired what's his name, Mike Zimmer.
They might be another name that might be interested in Rex Ryan then, because they know there's no Eberflus.
Yeah, that's fair. They could be interested in him again. There is no Eberflus. You are correct. Man, I wish Mike McDonald was an option. I know. It seems that you just did this a year too late.
Yeah.
I guess 2 years too late.
Let me ask you this, hypothetically, if they did this move a few years earlier and they had Mike McDonald, do you think the outcome in Baltimore would be different?
Yes.
Do you think they would have a Lombardi at this point?
I think you would at least make another AFC Championship game. Great. Yeah, I got one. Great. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. I think that they would make an AFC Championship game. They would have over the last 2 seasons. 2024, last year they might have won the whole damn thing.
Yeah, they were very talented roster.
Very. I don't.
Well, we do need a head coach. Yeah.
Praise. Who's on your hot board for the Baltimore Ravens?
Okay. So, considering who's out there, one that I think would be fun. Klint Kubiak could be a fun one.
We said Kubiak.
He's up there.
He's like number 4 for me right now.
Yeah, by no means he's number 1.
But he's top.
I think he's a great consolation prize if you don't get one of the top guys.
I agree.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big Kliff Kingsbury.
I'm not either.
I think Kliff is a good name, but I don't think he's been fired from every position he's had.
Seriously.
He has never taken a promotion. He's only gotten fired.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
So, that makes me nervous.
That does make me nervous as well.
I'm trying to think of who.
Yeah, Kubiak.
Dable, stay away.
I would like Kubiak as an OC.
Sure.
I think that, not Kubiak.
What about Dable
Kingsbury. I would like Kingsbury as an OC. I wouldn't mind Dable as an OC either.
Yeah.
I don't know head coach.
No head coach.
Yep.
Look, this team.
Dennis Allen.
This team needs physicality. It needs toughness mentally and physically. You don't hire Kliff Kingsbury to bring mental and physical toughness. Brian Flores. John Gruden. We've had lots of Jon Gruden questions.
Jon Gruden fans in here.
In fact, we got one.
We got a super chat.
7 chats ago. What about bringing in Gruden? Could be interested.
Well, that's future Arkansas legend.
Future. Yep,
Almost
missed him this cycle. They'll get him the next cycle.
Exactly.
Chuck Pagano people are saying too now.
Chuck Pagano?
Yeah.
Who else is
Ian Rappaport. I think my number one, these are my top 3. Number 1, Brian Flores. Number 2, Robert Saleh. Number 3, Jesse Minter.
I like it.
Yep. I like all of those guys.
I think the most stable one of those is, I don't even know. I was going to say Saleh, but was he a bad coach or were the Jets a bad product?
It was the Jets the bad product.
Dude,
It was
they signed a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers and then let him run the team. And then he tore his Achilles.
Horrendous.
So,
Horrendous.
It's the Jets.
Saleh would be a fun one. If you get him a good OC, Saleh could be a fun one.
I think so. I would be
A Saleh Kingsbury duo could be fun.
Dude, honestly, if it's any of my top 4, if it's Flores, Saleh, Minter, or Kubiak, I would be elated. I actually would be so happy.
Well, you got a
if
super
it was any of
chat.
those
Somebody gave a prediction in the super chat.
Ooh,
bring
Matty
it up.
Boom.
I don't
Bring
mind
the
that.
boom.
I'm not opposed to this.
Head coach Flores, DC Morris, OC Monkey. I'm not either. Hey, I said that Morris and Flores are my top. Flores is my top head coach. Would love Raheem Morris at DC. And, dude, if they kept Monken, I would not be mad. Like, this is a team that had no Lamar Jackson for a third of the season, and they still were like top half of the league offensively.
They beat the division champ Chicago Bears without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
it's
so
it's
The Ravens are an interesting apply.
they
Yeah,
are now the number one easily head coaching
I was
landing
going to
spot.
say, without thinking about it, they're probably the number one spot.
Dude, top half pick of the draft, number
You
14,
get
Lamar Jackson,
The AFC
Derrick Henry,
AFC North is fine.
AFC North not very good.
They're fine, but not amazing.
Zach Morris is staying, or Zach
Zach Taylor.
Taylor Morris. Who's Zach Morris? Probably somebody I know from college. Zach Taylor's staying. The Browns are the Browns. And do we really
Joe
think the
Burrow can't stay
Steelers are going to repeat with a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers next year?
no.
They suck.
I can't stand Rodgers anymore. He's got to get the hell out of
AFC
it.
also at this point is wide open.
AFC.
There's not a team that's like.
It's gonna be wide open for a few
pull up the
seasons.
schedule for me.
Yeah, for next year's
it
schedule.
feels like next year's schedule, you get a second place schedule. No offense, Trace. You get to play the NFC South. Like, I look at this,
I said the same thing.
and I see a. That's fair.
You play the AFC North.
That's fair. I see 11 to 12 wins if you can make this hire correctly. Like, I think you're going to beat the Browns twice. I think you'll split one with the Bengals, split one with the Steelers at least. That's 4 wins right there. I think you could beat all 4 of the NFC North teams. If not, you could beat 3 of them. That's 7 wins right there. I just think that I think you got a really winnable schedule next year. What's up, K9 Reapers? And, yeah, here we go. I think you beat the Cowboys. I think you beat Carolina. You play the AFC South. You play the NFC South and the AFC South.
That's kind of easy.
That's how we have AFC South and AFC North.
Like, that's pretty awesome.
That's an easy schedule. I'm not gonna lie.
It really is. So,
There's
you got
unbeatable
an easy
teams.
schedule.
The home slate's not. Oh, the home slate's not that bad when I pull it up.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah, here it
it's
is.
like,
The home slate. Yeah, look at the home slate. Titans,
dude, you
Saints.
genuinely could win every home game you play next year. I'll say you drop 2.
I'd say
2.
you drop.
Yeah,
I'd say
You
you.
drop
the
either
Jags.
one of Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles.
I'd say I have a winning record, or you go 4-4.
You're forgetting about the greatest quarterback of all time, Tyler Shuck.
You say
If we
winning record or 4-4?
Yeah.
4-4.
I mean, the Jags, Chargers. They had a good season this year. I mean,
Chargers.
Chargers. You could beat the Chargers.
They have Trevor.
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Bucks are hit or miss. I don't know what they're. It depends on what they do this
Tampa Bay's
offseason.
bad.
It
Tyler
depends.
Shuck swept them.
Well, it depends what they do this offseason.
Tyler Shuck swept them.
Ex-Ravens head coach from Albert Breer wants to coach in 2026. Sources say he wants to be a top candidate. No surprises there. Thank you, Trace.
Have you seen that one yet? I love that one, Joey.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. It's a good one. Okay. Also, players indicated they found out John Harbaugh was fired through social media.
So they were never even notified of it ahead of time?
Yeah.
That is all right. I gotta ask, do you think it's a great decision by the Ravens front office to not notify and give them?
I don't think it matters that much.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out so much with us. Crazy stuff, man. Truly crazy. Didn't think it happened. It did. And now we got a fun offseason ahead of us. Look at this, man.
I'm excited for
Look
this offseason.
at this.
Once Sunday hit, I was like, what are we gonna do during the offseason? Now I'm excited.
Dude, seriously.
It feels like a breath of fresh air to come in. Now.
It
I'm
really,
excited.
really does. Like, you got a top half of the draft pick. You've got free agency to look forward to, a new head coach hire, new OC, new DC. It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Ravens will be so back next year. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Dude, preseason?
It's gonna be electric.
It's hilarious because last night I was in the shower and I was thinking about the Ravens, as I normally do. And I was like, look, it sucks when football season's over. But like I also at the same time was really happy to stop watching a team that played so poorly all year long. Like there's a part of me that's relieved. It's like, okay, we get a little bit of a break. Now I'm like, let's hire a head coach. Let's start on the season. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty. That's going to do it for today's show. He's Gage Kilborn. My name's Joey Peterson. Our first ever breaking news live on this channel. Y'all rock. You make this job the most fun job in the world. For that, we're appreciative. Y'all have a great rest of your night. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.